Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what really fuels your soul? In the chaos of our high-speed lives, it's easy to forget why we're doing what we're doing. But finding your purpose, that's like lighting a fire deep inside. A fire that guides you, fuels you, and keeps you moving when everything else tries to slow you down. Purpose is the silent rhythm beneath every breath we take. It's the gentle voice that reminds us, you're here for something more. And when you embrace that power, it doesn't just change your life, it elevates the lives of everyone around you. Suddenly, every step you take has meaning. Every morning holds potential. Every moment becomes a chance to grow. How long will you keep your potential locked away? Don't let another sunrise pass without whispering to yourself, today I gave it everything. When you wake up and feel the weight of the world pressing down, remember what Marcus Aurelius said. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. These 24 hours aren't just hours, they are your most valuable currency. You're not just passing time, you're crafting your legacy, one decision at a time. In today's video, we're unlocking the timeless wisdom of the Stoics. You'll discover how to turn everyday frustrations into fuel for growth, find peace in the chaos, and move through life with unshakable purpose. Lesson 1. Obstacles are opportunities. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The obstacle is the way." And that wasn't just poetic, it was practical. The things that stand in your way aren't stopping you. They're showing you the way forward. Every struggle, every inconvenience, every frustration, they're all opportunities disguised as problems. Think about that. What if every setback was actually a stepping stone? What if every difficult person was just another chance to grow your patience, sharpen your wisdom, and strengthen your character? That's the Stoic mindset. When life puts something hard in your path, don't curse it. Use it. The next time something frustrates you, pause and ask, how can I turn this into fuel? Obstacles shape us. They train us. They demand our courage, our resilience, and our wisdom. When Edison's lab burned down, destroying years of work, he didn't collapse. He smiled and said, all our mistakes are gone. Now we can begin again. That's what it means to rise through adversity. That's what it means to make the obstacle the way. Lesson 2. Control your response. You can't control the world, but you can always control your reaction to it. That's where real power lies. Every rude person, every unexpected delay, every tough moment, it's not the situation that defines you. It's your response. Think of every moment of irritation as a test. Will you let your emotions hijack your peace? Or will you stand steady and choose your response with clarity and strength? This is the Stoic way. Pause before you react. Take ownership of your state of mind. The person who stays calm in chaos is the one who's truly in control. Imagine your emotions as a fire. You can either pour gasoline on it, or you can breathe, think, and pour water instead. Every time you choose peace, you become stronger. Every time you respond instead of react, you grow more powerful. Lesson 3. Practice patience. Patience isn't weakness. It's strength wrapped in calm. In a world that pushes for instant everything, patience is a superpower. That frustrating coworker, that long line, that delay in your plans, these aren't just annoyances, they're reps in your mental gym. Each one gives you a chance to train your patience, to breathe, to pause, and to stay centered. Think of yourself like a strong-rooted tree in a storm. The wind might shake your leaves, but your roots stay firm. Patience makes you unshakable. It's not about giving in, it's about rising above. Next time something tests you, don't react. Smile inwardly and say, this is practice. And with each test, you become more unbreakable. Lesson 4. Forgiveness is a skill. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. Forgiveness doesn't mean saying what they did was okay. It means you're done carrying the weight of it. Forgiveness is a skill, and like all skills, it gets easier the more you practice it. Every time you choose to let go, you become lighter, stronger, freer. Start small. Begin by letting go of the little things. Then, as your forgiveness muscle grows, the bigger burdens start to fall away too. Picture every grudge as a stone in your backpack. With each act of forgiveness, you take one out. Eventually, you'll be walking taller, moving faster, breathing easier. Forgiveness isn't for them. It's a gift you give yourself. Lesson 5. See everyone as a teacher. Every person you meet is your teacher, yes, even the difficult ones, maybe especially them. The Stoics taught that everyone brings a lesson: patience, empathy, self-awareness, or sometimes just a reminder of who not to become. Instead of labeling people as annoying, rude, or wrong, ask, what are they here to teach me? When you approach life with curiosity instead of judgment, you start to see meaning everywhere. Even the most frustrating person can help you grow if you're humble enough to learn. Treat every interaction as a lesson. Life is the classroom. Everyone else is part of your curriculum, and the best students, they never stop learning. Lesson 6. Virtue is its own reward. When you do something good, don't wait for applause. Do it because it's right. Marcus Aurelius said, "You don't need recognition. You've already done your job." And that's a powerful truth. Real fulfillment doesn't come from others cheering you on. It comes from within. When you act with kindness, integrity, and courage, you build something stronger than praise: character. Be kind not for approval, but because that's the person you've chosen to be. That quiet satisfaction you feel after doing the right thing, that's your soul affirming your path. Virtue is the reward. Let it guide you, especially when no one's watching. Lesson 7. Stay steady amid chaos. The world is noisy. The news, social media, drama. It's a whirlwind. But you don't have to be swept away by it. The Stoics remind us to be the rock in the storm, grounded, unmoved, steady. When everything around you feels unstable, be the calm center. Let others panic. You observe. Let others spiral. You stand tall. Picture yourself as a mountain surrounded by winds and waves. No matter how loud or violent the chaos gets, you remain still inside. That's power. That's Stoic stillness. You don't control the storm, but you always control how you stand in it. Lesson 8. Reflect before reacting. When something upsets you, don't act. Reflect. Pause. Breathe. Ask, am I seeing this clearly? Most of our mistakes come from reacting too fast, from acting before thinking. The Stoics taught that clarity comes with stillness. When you reflect, you create space. Space to choose better, think deeper, and move with intention. That space is where growth happens. In that pause, you take back control from emotion. You stop letting life push you and start leading your life from the inside out. Reflection is strength. It transforms reaction into wisdom. Lesson 9. Anchor yourself in values. When the world spins out of control, your values are your anchor. Courage, wisdom, justice, discipline. These are more than words. They're your compass. Life will test you. People will pressure you. Emotions will rise. But if your actions are rooted in your core values, you'll never be truly lost. When decisions get hard, ask yourself, what does courage look like right now? What would wisdom choose? The answer is always there, waiting in your principles. Values don't just guide you, they ground you. In a chaotic world, they are your true north. Lesson 10. Adversity is a test. What if hardship isn't here to break you, but to prove you? The Stoics saw adversity as a test of character. Marcus Aurelius asked, does this stop me from acting with courage, justice, wisdom, or discipline? His answer, it doesn't. Every challenge is a moment to show who you are, to prove that you don't fold under pressure, you rise. Adversity isn't your enemy, it's your training ground. It reveals your strength and refines your spirit. Don't fear the test, show up for it, with courage, with clarity, with resolve, because the fire doesn't destroy the iron, it forges it. Lesson 11. Turn challenges into growth. Challenges are inevitable, but how you face them determines whether you crumble or evolve. The Stoics didn't run from life's difficulties, they leaned into them. Every challenge, no matter how painful, is an invitation to grow into your best self. Growth isn't born from comfort, it's carved out of resistance. Like a sculptor chipping away at marble, life uses hardship to reveal the masterpiece within you. When you're stretched, pressured, or knocked down, ask yourself, what quality is life demanding from me right now? Patience, courage, discipline, then rise to meet that demand. Your greatest strengths often lie dormant until hardship wakes them up. Lesson 12. Optimism in the face of suffering. To suffer is to be human, but how we respond to that suffering defines our path. Marcus Aurelius lost children, faced plagues, and ruled during war. Yet he found reasons to wake up each day with purpose and hope. Optimism doesn't mean pretending everything's fine. It means believing that even in darkness, there is light to move toward. It's the decision to keep walking, to keep building, to keep loving, even when life hurts. Think of the sun breaking through storm clouds. It doesn't erase the rain, but it reminds you that brightness is still possible. Let your optimism be a choice, a rebellion against despair. Lesson 13. Interconnectedness is key. The Stoics believed we are all part of a greater whole. Marcus Aurelius meditated often on the idea that we share a common nature, that we rise together or fall divided. When you help others, you help yourself. When you lift someone up, you strengthen the web we all live in. This isn't just philosophy, it's biology. Humans are wired for connection. So ask, how can I contribute to the whole today? Not for applause, but because it's the right thing. When we see others not as competition, but as companions on the journey, life becomes richer, more meaningful. We were never meant to walk this path alone. Lesson 14. Helping others alleviates loneliness. Loneliness can feel like a heavy fog, isolating, cold, and endless. But there's a surprising remedy: service. The moment you shift your focus from "I need to," "How can I give?" something profound happens inside you. Helping someone else, whether through a kind word, a listening ear, or a simple gesture, breaks the illusion of separation. It reminds you that connection isn't about grand moments. It's found in quiet acts of compassion. When you give, you also receive purpose, presence, and belonging. So the next time you feel alone, reach outward. Even small ripples of kindness can pull you back to shore. Lesson 15. Accept life's inevitable challenges. Life isn't meant to be free of problems, it's meant to prepare you for them. Marcus Aurelius asked, is a world without annoying people possible? Of course not, but accepting that truth brings peace. We suffer more from resisting reality than from reality itself. When you expect life to always be fair or easy, you set yourself up for disappointment. But when you accept that difficulty is part of the human experience, you free yourself. Acceptance doesn't mean you give up. It means you stop wasting energy on what you can't control. It's the first step toward effective action. It's choosing calm over chaos, grace over frustration. Acceptance is the gateway to clarity. Lesson 16. Prepare for life's inconveniences, delays, setbacks, people who test your patience. These things aren't just possible, they're inevitable. And yet, we act surprised when they happen. The Stoics believe that mental preparation is one of the most powerful tools you can carry. When you begin each day expecting small frustrations, you're no longer thrown by them. You've trained for them. Imagine a warrior going into battle. They don't hope for peace. They prepare for war. You too can prepare for life's minor battles, not with aggression, but with readiness. A calm readiness that says, I knew this could happen. I'm ready to meet it with grace. Preparation isn't pessimism. It's peace through foresight. Lesson 17. Control your anger. Anger is a fire. Left unchecked, it destroys everything in its path. Your relationships, your clarity, your peace. But mastered, it becomes energy you can channel. The Stoics never said you shouldn't feel anger. They said you shouldn't be owned by it. When anger rises, ask yourself, is this who I want to be? Because every outburst leaves a mark on others and on yourself. Pause. Breathe. Respond, don't explode. True strength isn't found in shouting louder. It's found in staying centered when everything wants to pull you off balance. Anger is a signal. Listen to it. Learn from it. Then rise above it. Lesson 18. Let go of grudges. A grudge is like a wound you choose to keep open. Every time you replay the offense, you tear the scab off again. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means releasing the emotional hold it has over you. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the people we resent will one day be dust, just like us. So why let them live rent-free in your mind? When you hold on to resentment, you give away your peace. But when you let go, you reclaim your freedom. Start small. Release one grudge today, then another tomorrow. Let go and walk forward, lighter, freer, more at peace. Lesson 19. Strive for continuous improvement. Perfection is a myth. Progress is a mindset. Even the greatest minds in history, Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus, viewed themselves as students until the end. Every day is a chance to become 1% better, to reflect, refine, and rise. Don't wait for some perfect moment to change. Start now, with small, consistent steps. Think of an artist. They don't create a masterpiece in one stroke. It's layers, details, adjustments. You are your own masterpiece, and your brush is in your hand. Aim to be better today than yesterday. That's the Stoic way, not perfection, but progress. Lesson 20. Master your morning. Your morning is your foundation. Start it rushed, reactive, and distracted, and the rest of the day falls apart. But start it with intention. You take control from the first breath. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I am rising to do the work of a human being.' That's purpose. That's power. Use the early hours to center yourself. Reflect, plan, breathe. Align your mind before the noise of the world creeps in. A strong morning builds momentum, and momentum builds a meaningful life. Win your morning, and you'll win your day." Lesson 21. Handle criticism. Gracefully, criticism is part of life. You can't avoid it, but you can control how you receive it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to meet criticism with patience and cheerfulness, not because it's easy, but because it's powerful. When someone criticizes you, don't immediately defend or attack. Instead ask, "Is this true?" If it is, great. You've just been handed a gift for growth. If it's not, why carry someone else's projection as your burden? Criticism isn't a verdict. It's a mirror. Sometimes clean, sometimes cracked, but always an opportunity to reflect. Those who master criticism don't fear it. They filter it, learn from it, and rise above it. Respond with grace. It's a sign of inner strength, not weakness. Lesson 22. Thoughts shape your reality. Marcus Aurelius said, "Your life is dyed by the color of your thoughts." It's not just poetic, it's true. What you focus on expands. If your thoughts are angry, anxious, or self-defeating, your world begins to reflect that chaos. But when you train your mind to see opportunity, beauty, and gratitude, even in small things, your world changes. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Your mind is a garden. What are you planting? Doubt or confidence? Scarcity or abundance? Anger or empathy? Guard your thoughts. Nurture them, because your thoughts don't just describe your world. They create it. Lesson 23. Withhold judgment. We rush to label everything, good, bad, fair, unfair. But the Stoics knew that reality is rarely so black and white. Often what seems like a curse today becomes a blessing tomorrow. Seneca taught us not to judge events too quickly. Sometimes missing the bus leads to meeting the love of your life. Sometimes a failed job interview frees you to pursue your purpose. Practice being an observer instead of a judge. Let things unfold without immediate labeling. When you withhold judgment, you make space for peace, and often surprising growth. Step back, breathe, let life surprise you. Lesson 24. Respond, don't react. When life throws something unexpected your way, a rude comment, a delay, a setback, you have two choices: react impulsively or respond intentionally. The difference is massive. Reacting is instinctive. It's raw, emotional, and often regretful. Responding is deliberate. It's calm, thoughtful, and powerful. Think like a firefighter. When the alarm goes off, they don't panic. They assess. They plan. Then they act with precision. That's how you should approach life's fires, too. The pause between stimulus and response is where your freedom lives. In that pause, you choose who you are becoming. And the more you train this, the more unshakable you become. Lesson 25. Find strength in adversity. Adversity isn't your enemy, it's your coach. It pushes, pulls, stretches, and sometimes breaks you. But each challenge is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. Marcus Aurelius didn't rise in comfort. He rose in chaos. Plagues, wars, political pressure, and still he found clarity and purpose. Why? Because he understood that adversity was the forge, not the fire. When life tests you, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this building in me?" Is it resilience, focus, inner strength? Imagine steel in a blacksmith's fire. Every blow makes it stronger. That's you. Keep going. Lesson 26. Focus on the present moment. The past is unchangeable. The future is uncertain. But the present? It's all you truly own. Epictetus taught us that the only time we ever really live in is now. So many of us get trapped in mental time travel, regretting yesterday, worrying about tomorrow, and we miss what's right in front of us. The moment you're in now is full of life, full of potential, full of power. When you eat, taste the food. When you work, give it your full attention. When you're with someone, be with them. Presence isn't passive, it's a form of discipline. It demands that you stop drifting and start living. Train your mind to return to now, because now is where life happens. Lesson 27. Embrace simplicity. Simplicity isn't about having less, it's about needing less. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Modern life tries to convince us that more is better. More money, more followers, more noise. But what if happiness was found not in adding, but in subtracting? When you strip away the non-essential, you create space for what truly matters. Relationships, clarity, peace of mind. A cluttered life is a distracted life. A simple life is a focused one. So simplify your schedule. Declutter your space. Let go of obligations that drain you. And in the silence that remains, you'll hear your true self again. Lesson 28. Practice voluntary discomfort. Comfort zones feel safe, but they slowly shrink your potential. The Stoics trained themselves in hardship, not to suffer, but to grow stronger than their circumstances. Epictetus advised practicing poverty, wearing simple clothes, eating plain food, even sleeping on the floor, not as punishment, but as preparation. When you voluntarily experience discomfort, you teach yourself that you don't need much to thrive. Take a cold shower, skip a meal, say no to luxury for a day. These aren't gimmicks, they're reminders. You are resilient. You can endure. And you don't need external comforts to feel powerful inside. Strength is built in the hard moments, especially the ones you choose. Lesson 29. Avoid comparisons. Comparison is the thief of joy. And yet we compare everything. Our progress, our bodies, our relationships, our lives. But Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Don't waste time wondering what others think of you. Your path is yours alone. Your pace, your pain, your process, no one else walks your exact road. When you constantly glance sideways, you lose momentum. You trip. You fall out of alignment with who you really are. Celebrate others, yes, but stay committed to your own journey. Look inward, not outward. And remember, success isn't being ahead of someone else. It's being ahead of who you were yesterday." Lesson 30. Find freedom in discipline. Discipline isn't restriction, it's liberation. Seneca said, "Only the disciplined are truly free." Because when you control your actions, your habits, your thoughts, you reclaim your life. Discipline allows you to wake up early and not rush, to say no when distractions call, to choose long-term growth over short-term comfort. Without discipline, you're a slave to impulse, but with it, you gain control over your time, your energy, your destiny. You become your own master. So don't view discipline as a cage. It's the structure that lets you build a meaningful, fulfilling life. It's the path to real freedom. Lesson 31. Be open to change. Change is the only constant in life, and yet most people resist it, clinging to routines, identities, or circumstances long past their expiration date. But the Stoics embraced change, not with fear, but with reverence. Marcus Aurelius observed how all things are born from change. Flowers bloom, leaves fall, rivers shift. Nature never clings, and neither should we. What feels like loss is often transformation in disguise. Think of a tree swaying in the wind. It bends but doesn't break. Its flexibility is its strength. Be like that tree. When life pushes you to pivot, don't fight it. Learn from it. Adapt. Evolve. Change isn't the enemy. It's your greatest teacher. Let it show you what you're capable of becoming. Lesson 32. Take responsibility for your actions. Epictetus taught us that we are not responsible for everything that happens to us, but we are responsible for how we respond. Blame is easy. Ownership is hard, but only ownership leads to freedom. When you blame others, you hand them your power. You say, "My life is in your hands." But when you take responsibility, you reclaim the steering wheel. You say, "No matter what's happened, I choose what happens next." Your choices, your effort, your attitude, that's your domain. And that's more than enough to build a great life. Responsibility isn't about guilt, it's about empowerment. The moment you own your actions is the moment your transformation begins. Lesson 33. Practice gratitude for adversity. It's easy to be thankful when things go right, but true Stoic gratitude is deeper. It's the kind that whispers thank you even when life is hard. Because adversity doesn't just test you, it reveals you. Marcus Aurelius believed that obstacles were gifts in disguise. Each difficulty carved a deeper well of resilience, insight, and inner strength. When you face hardship, ask, what is this teaching me? What hidden gift is buried here? Gratitude for adversity transforms pain into purpose. It doesn't erase the struggle, but it makes the struggle worthwhile. And when you train your mind to find meaning in the mess, nothing can break you. Lesson 34. Let nature be your guide. The Stoics often looked to nature as a mirror and mentor. Marcus Aurelius marveled at how every living thing fulfills its purpose effortlessly, without overthinking, without hesitation, without fear. Watch a river flow around rocks. It doesn't complain. It adjusts and keeps moving. See how birds migrate. Trees bend in storms and seasons shift without resistance. Nature teaches resilience, patience, adaptability, and presence. Spend time in nature, not just for peace, but for perspective. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this forest, this wave, this breeze? Let nature remind you that you too are part of something greater. You too are meant to grow, change, and flow. Return to nature, and you'll return to yourself. Lesson 35. Cultivate stillness. Stillness isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing the inner work, the quiet, focused presence that allows you to see clearly and act wisely. The Stoics cultivated stillness through journaling, reflection, and mindful detachment. In a noisy world, stillness is your sanctuary. It's where you reconnect with your values, your purpose, your inner strength. Think of a lake. When the water is agitated, it's cloudy, but when it settles, it reflects the sky. Your mind is the same. Without stillness, your thoughts are chaotic. But when you slow down, breathe, and reflect, you regain clarity. Create space in your day for silence, even 5 minutes. In that stillness, you'll find direction, renewal, and peace. Lesson 36. Beware of ego. Ego is loud, needy, and fragile. It constantly whispers, you're better than them, or you have to prove yourself. But the Stoics saw ego for what it really is, a barrier between who you are and who you could become. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you are just one small part of a greater whole. Ego forgets this. It craves validation, avoids criticism, and resists growth. But humility is the soil where wisdom takes root. Let go of the need to always be right. Be open to being wrong. Welcome correction like a teacher, not an attack. When you drop the mask of ego, you make space for truth, learning, and connection. Greatness doesn't shout. It listens. It improves. It grows, quietly, steadily, humbly. Lesson 37. Focus on the process, not the outcome. The Stoics taught, do your duty, leave the rest to the gods. In other words, focus on what's within your control, your effort, your mindset, your intention. The outcome? That's never fully in your hands. We live in a world obsessed with results, likes, money, status. But fulfillment doesn't come from finishing. It comes from showing up fully, every single day. Think of a painter working on a canvas. She doesn't rush to finish. She gets lost in the brushstrokes. She finds joy in the process. You should, too. When you detach from results and commit to the work itself, stress melts away, pride grows, and ironically, the outcomes tend to take care of themselves. Lesson 38. Live according to nature. Living according to nature means aligning with your deepest values and accepting the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. It means being kind, resilient, honest, and adaptable, because that's what human nature calls for. Nature doesn't resist, it flows. The seasons change without complaint. The tides shift without hesitation. And so should we. Ask yourself, am I living in harmony with my purpose, or am I forcing something unnatural? When you resist reality, you suffer. But when you accept, adapt, and flow, you thrive. To live according to nature is to live with grace, courage, and truth. Follow that path and you'll find peace. Lesson 39. Embrace the common good. We're not isolated beings, we're threads in a vast human fabric. Marcus Aurelius meditated on this daily. He understood that our actions affect the whole, and that serving others is the highest expression of purpose. Helping others isn't just noble, it's necessary. When you contribute to the common good, you not only uplift someone else, you elevate yourself. A kind word, a listening ear, a small sacrifice, they ripple outward in ways you'll never fully see. And yet they return to you in the form of meaning, connection, and peace. Your legacy won't be measured by what you take, but by what you give. So give freely, serve boldly, and know that in lifting others, you rise too. Lesson 40. Make time for reflection. The unexamined life isn't worth living. That's not just philosophy, it's a warning. If you don't pause to reflect, you'll keep repeating patterns that no longer serve you. You'll drift instead of decide. The Stoics practiced nightly reflection, asking themselves, what did I do well today? What could I do better? This wasn't guilt, it was growth. Make time to sit with your day, write, think, observe. Not to dwell on mistakes, but to turn them into lessons, to celebrate wins, to realign with your values. Reflection turns random days into purposeful ones, and it turns ordinary people into extraordinary ones. Lesson 41. Avoid overthinking. The mind is a powerful tool, but left unchecked, it becomes a prison. Overthinking is the art of creating problems that don't exist. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you don't have to turn this into something. Let it be. The more you analyze every word, every possibility, every future scenario, the more you trap yourself in paralysis. The Stoics understood that clarity comes not from obsessing, but from letting thoughts settle. Imagine your mind as a glass of water. Every time you overthink, you stir the sediment. It clouds your vision. But when you pause, when you simply breathe, the water clears. Don't get caught in mental loops. Take action, trust your values, and let simplicity guide your next step. Lesson 42. Be prepared for the unexpected. Seneca taught that the blow which lands hardest is the one you didn't see coming. Life is unpredictable. Plans fail, people disappoint, obstacles appear without warning. But the Stoics didn't hope for calm seas. They prepared for storms, not with fear, but with readiness. They practiced imagining adversity so that when hardship came, they were not surprised. They were steady. You can do the same. When you begin your day, expect delays, expect challenge. Not as a pessimist, but as a warrior who refuses to be caught off guard. Preparedness is power. It transforms fear into confidence, chaos into clarity. Lesson 43. Value. Your time. Time is your most precious resource. You can earn more money. You can gain more followers. But you can never reclaim a wasted moment. Seneca warned us, people are frugal in guarding their property, but when it comes to wasting time, they're most extravagant. Ask yourself, how am I spending the hours of my life? Are you investing in growth, connection, purpose, or are you trading your minutes for distractions that leave you empty? Imagine each day as a jar of marbles. Every hour is one marble gone, forever. Spend them wisely. Pour them into what truly matters. Protect your time, live deliberately. Because once it's gone, it's gone. Lesson 44. Align words with actions. Talk is easy, integrity is rare. The Stoics believed that true character is shown not in what you say, but in what you do. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Let your actions speak, not your reputation." When your words and actions align, you build trust with others and with yourself. You walk through life with the quiet strength of authenticity. You become someone others can count on, and more importantly, someone you can count on. So be mindful of promises. Follow through. Speak with intention, and make your life a reflection of the principles you preach. In the end, your actions are your legacy. Let them speak boldly. Lesson 45. Seek progress, not perfection. Perfection is a myth. It's a moving target that keeps you stuck, second-guessing, and scared to act. The Stoics didn't chase flawlessness. They aimed for consistent progress. Every day is a chance to get a little better, a little wiser, a little more in tune with your values. That's what matters. Not flawless performance, but forward movement. Think of climbing a mountain. You don't leap to the top. You take one step, then another. Some days are faster, some are slow, but every step counts. So release the pressure to be perfect. Replace it with the discipline to improve. That's where greatness lives. Lesson 46, don't fear death. Death is not the enemy. It's the ultimate reminder. The Stoics didn't shy away from mortality. They meditated on it. Seneca wrote, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think. Why? Because awareness of death makes life urgent. It strips away the trivial. It forces you to ask what truly matters. When you remember life is short, you stop wasting time on gossip, resentment, and fear. You speak more honestly. You love more fiercely. You live more fully. Don't fear death. Use it. Let it sharpen your decisions and deepen your gratitude. Let it fuel your commitment to leave nothing undone, unsaid, or unlived. Lesson 47. Be resilient in failure. Failure isn't final, it's foundational. The Stoics didn't view setbacks as shameful. They saw them as feedback. Every stumble was a chance to reflect, adjust, and rise stronger. Picture a blacksmith hammering iron. Each blow doesn't break the metal, it strengthens it. That's what failure does to you. It forges resilience, it teaches humility, it clarifies your path. When something doesn't work out, don't collapse. Learn, adapt, try again, this time wiser, this time stronger. Remember, the greatest figures in history failed again and again. What made them different was that they kept going. So can you. Lesson 48. Act with courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward despite it. Marcus Aurelius led through war, plague, and political unrest. He didn't wait for certainty. He acted with principle and resolve. Courage is doing the hard thing when it would be easier to stay silent, safe, or small. It's choosing truth over approval, growth over comfort, legacy over convenience. Think of courage as a muscle. It grows every time you act when you're afraid, every time you speak up, step out, or stay the course when it's tough. The world doesn't need more critics or bystanders. It needs leaders. Be one of them. Lesson 49. Accept what you can't change. The core of Stoicism is this: focus on what you can control and release the rest. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." Wisdom is knowing the difference. You can't control the weather, other people's opinions, or the past, but you can control your response, your values, your effort. Acceptance doesn't mean you approve. It means you stop wasting energy on what you cannot influence and redirect it to where it counts. Think of a river. It flows around rocks, not through them. That's you. Let go of resistance. Flow with purpose. Lesson 50. Surround yourself with virtue. You become like the people you spend time with. The Stoics urged us to choose our company with care, because your environment shapes your character. Spend time with people who live with integrity, who strive for wisdom, who lift you up and hold you accountable. These are the relationships that shape greatness. Just as a healthy tree thrives in rich soil, you thrive in a community of virtue. That doesn't mean perfection, but direction, alignment, growth. So ask yourself, do my relationships make me better or bitter? If it's the latter, it's time to adjust your circle. Surround yourself with those who reflect the values you want to live by, and watch your life transform. Lesson 51. Master your emotions. Emotions are natural. Anger, fear, sadness, joy. They're part of being human. But the Stoics taught that while you can feel your emotions, you must never be ruled by them. Think of your emotions like wild horses. They're powerful, but without a rider, they run you into chaos. Your job is to be that rider, to guide, not suppress. When anger rises, pause. When fear creeps in, breathe. When sadness weighs you down, observe it without judgment. Mastery comes not from denial, but from awareness and control. True strength is staying grounded when your inner world gets loud. That's emotional resilience. That's Stoic power. Lesson 52. Value simplicity. There is elegance in simplicity, a clear space, a quiet mind, a focused day. The Stoics embraced minimalism not just in their possessions, but in their thinking, their words, and their priorities. Modern life tempts us with complexity, more goals, more gadgets, more obligations. But complexity often clouds clarity. Simplicity brings peace. It sharpens your decisions and amplifies your purpose. Ask yourself, what is essential? What is noise? Then begin removing the excess. physically, mentally, emotionally. When your life is simple, your spirit has room to breathe. That's not lack. That's freedom. Lesson 53, be content with less. Happiness doesn't come from having everything, it comes from needing less. Epictetus taught that the man who wants little is richer than the man who has much. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. Discontent turns what you lack into suffering. You can chase more your whole life and still feel empty. Or you can learn to see the richness in simplicity. Think of an empty cup. It has room to be filled. But an overflowing one spills wastefully. Contentment isn't giving up ambition. It's finding peace within the moment, even as you grow. Own your desires, or they'll own you. Lesson 54, use power wisely. Power doesn't reveal character, it amplifies it. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man of his time, yet he ruled with humility, patience, and wisdom. Because true power isn't about control, it's about service. When you gain influence, whether as a leader, parent, creator, or friend, ask yourself, am I using this to lift others up or to serve myself? The Stoic leader leads with justice, speaks with clarity, acts with restraint. The more power you have, the more responsibility you carry. And those who use power to empower others, they leave legacies that last beyond their lifetimes. Lesson 55, keep a beginner's mindset. No matter how far you've come, there's always more to learn. The Stoics believed in lifelong growth, and that requires humility. A beginner's mindset isn't about forgetting what you know. It's about staying open. The moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop evolving. But when you approach life with curiosity, wonder, and a willingness to learn, everything becomes a teacher. Revisit the basics, ask questions, challenge your own thinking. Wisdom doesn't live in certainty, it lives in inquiry. Stay teachable, stay curious. That's how true mastery is built. Lesson 56. Practice daily gratitude. Gratitude isn't a once-in-a-while feeling, it's a daily discipline, and it changes everything. The Stoics knew that when you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, your entire perspective shifts. Start your day with a simple practice. Name 3 things you're grateful for. Not big things, simple ones. A warm bed, a deep breath, the chance to begin again. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into sacred ones. It softens frustration, it magnifies joy, and it grounds you in abundance, even when life feels uncertain. Make it a habit. Train your mind to look for what's good, and you'll begin to realize it's always been there. Lesson 57. Live with purpose. What are you really here for? Marcus Aurelius often asked himself this. He didn't want to drift through life. He wanted to live it deliberately. Purpose isn't always about a grand mission. It's about alignment, about knowing what matters and making choices that reflect that. It's waking up and saying, I know what I'm working toward. I know who I want to be. When you act with purpose, even the mundane becomes meaningful. Conversations feel deeper. Work feels intentional. Life feels lighter, not because it's easier, but because it's directed. Find your purpose, and then let it guide everything. Lesson 58. Stay true to yourself. Authenticity is rare and powerful. The Stoics taught that you must never betray your principles just to fit in or be liked. When you abandon who you are, you lose your center. Stay rooted in your values. Don't bend for approval. Don't shrink for comfort. When you live in alignment with your truth, you become unshakable, calm in chaos, steady in storms. Being true to yourself doesn't mean being stubborn. It means listening to your inner voice before the noise of the world. It means acting with integrity even when no one's watching. And the result? Peace, strength, self-respect. Lesson 59. End. Each day with reflection. Every day is a chapter in your story, and reflection is how you edit it. Seneca made it a nightly ritual, asking, what did I do well? What can I improve? What did I learn? This isn't about guilt, it's about growth. Reflection sharpens awareness. It turns experience into wisdom. And it helps you course correct while there's still time. Take 5 minutes at night, journal, breathe, review. Not to criticize, but to understand. Because when you look back with honesty, you move forward with power. Your best self isn't created in the big moments. It's built night after night in quiet reflection. Lesson 60. Be resilient in failure. Yes, we've touched on failure before, but this final lesson is about something deeper: resilience as identity. The Stoics didn't just endure failure, they embodied resilience. Resilience means getting up every time you fall. It means refusing to let one setback define your path. It means saying, "I'm not done. I've still got more in me." Marcus Aurelius ruled through unthinkable hardships, and yet he never stopped showing up. That's your final call to action. Show up. For your dreams, for your values, for yourself. You are stronger than what tried to break you. Resilience isn't a moment, it's who you are. This is Stoicism. Not just an ancient philosophy, but a living practice, a path of purpose, clarity, discipline, and strength. You've now learned 60 lessons to build a life, not just of success, but of depth, peace, and unshakable power. Now the real question is, which lesson will you live today? Thank you for being a part of Deep Dive Stoic. If this spoke to you, don't stop here. Watch the next video on screen. Your journey to inner strength continues right now.